Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Patty G Show. We are joined by Jordan Gros of Mycocentrics. We are talking shrooms this week, people. Not the kind you get loopy on, although maybe later at the end of the show. We are talking about some health-focused mushrooms that is happening right here in the great state of Louisiana, in our hometown of Baton Rouge. And as always, our wonderful title sponsor, Velocity Partner Group, is our studio sponsor, bringing you the show each and every week, along with our wonderful partners in the community, Falaya Real Estate, Lakeman's Health Center, Cortex, and PB&J Productions. Enjoy the show. And so how did you get into this to begin with?
So my first introduction to mushrooms was learning to cultivate Cordyceps militaris.
Huh?
So Cordyceps, you ever heard of The Last of Us? That show, The Last of Us? Okay, so there's this show. No. I think it used to be a video game, but it just came out as a TV show as well. And basically it's this show where like this mushroom inoculates all these humans and turns them into zombies.
Okay.
And the mushroom that it's based off of is Cordyceps. So in nature, Cordyceps do parasitize insects. So I guess that's what they base the show off of, since they create zombies out of insects.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah. So they're like these cool little orange mushrooms. And that was my first introduction to like functional mushrooms, learning to cultivate them, extract them, ingesting them myself, learning to forage them and everything. And I was probably one of the first like 20 people in America to learn to cultivate that specific mushroom. So yeah, kind of an odd introduction.
How did you learn that? Like I know you've got, by the way, let's start with your educational career first.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's impressive. Just kick out the gate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I graduated from LSU in biological and agricultural engineering.
Okay.
So you can go a lot of different routes with that. A lot of people go into like biomedical. They go get their master's to learn how to do like prosthetics and more like medical stuff. But I was more interested in the agricultural part of things. So right whenever I graduated, I landed a job up in Massachusetts, and at the time they had the biggest Cordyceps militaris farm on the western half of the globe.
Western half of the globe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went out there. I wasn't out there for too long, but I learned enough to understand the importance of it and learned that I wanted to bring it back down here to Louisiana eventually and spread the word around my home state.
Okay, so outside of making insects like zombies, why'd you bring them back? Why'd you start cultivating them?
So they have a lot of medicinal benefits. I feel that they're a solution to a lot of modern day things like illnesses and ailments that we're dealing with. They're very good for preventing burnout, helping to prevent or recover from burnout and fatigue. They can help with oxygen uptake and utilization. A lot of people who have like long COVID and stuff, it can help them recover from that. Also, it has like antiviral properties, anti-cancer properties, things like that. So it's just like a great thing for anyone to have in their system. And I'm just obsessed with them. I take them every day myself. And
so how do you ingest them?
So it's like a little liquid extract.
Okay.
So I encourage people really just to make it their own. You could take it directly, but they are ethanol based, and we can kind of get into the process as well. But so like a portion of these extracts are made with ethanol, a portion of them are made with water, and they're combined to a final alcohol percentage of about like 30%. And that's to keep shelf stability, but also it's because certain molecules will only be soluble in the ethanol and certain molecules will only be soluble in the water. So this makes like a more full spectrum product with a broader range of beneficial molecules in it. And the way you would take it, you could take it directly into your mouth, but some of them can be kind of bitter. They have a little bit of that ethanol. So I say just make it your own, whatever you're already doing throughout your day, like drinking water, smoothie. If you have kids, you can put it in their mac and cheese. I don't know. Yeah, you can be really versatile with it. And 1 or 2 milliliters a day, taking it consistently is key. That's how you'll get the best benefit, having it in your bloodstream regularly. And that's it. It's very convenient.
So, and that's from the little droplets.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. The droppers have little measurements on them so you can dose like super accurately as well.
Okay. So walk us through, how do you cultivate them, or you cultivate them here? Walk through that process from growing it to putting it in the bottle.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I have experience cultivating cordyceps and have experiencing cultivating other mushrooms as well. Recently, I'm in transition to a new space. So in 2026, I'll be moving into some new space and be able to start up cultivating again. But in the meantime, I've had to source from small farms across America and just get the raw material. And then I'm doing the extracting myself. I utilize some machinery to cycle the solvent through the material again and again, therefore making it more concentrated with every cycle. So there's traditional ways to make these tinctures, and it could make a good tincture, but I'm using machinery, and I've rigged up my machinery to be able to extract under low temperatures to preserve. And that's where the engineering degree came into, and like the thermodynamics and everything. So I extract under low temperatures to preserve more of the beneficial molecules because they're heat sensitive. And that's what I do. And then eventually the final product gets bottled. I'm doing all of this by hand. Just me doing
all by hand?
All by hand, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm still, I have quite a bit of room to grow. I'm not a huge business, but I am getting to the point where I'm having trouble keeping up. So it's like a good problem to have.
That's a very good problem to have.
Yeah. So that's why I'm looking into expanding, hopefully building my team and everything as well. But yeah, I bottle them up, screw the caps on, label them, and then I'm, selling them and doing all the marketing and everything from there.
So you're out there in Massachusetts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when do you decide to come back to Baton Rouge and kind of start this? And was it just from a hobby element? Like when you got back here, what was the intent? Like what was the thought behind coming back here, and what were you going to do? I
mean, this is kind of maybe an important part of the story, but actually after I lived in Massachusetts, I went across the country and lived in Oregon.
Okay.
So I was out in Oregon for a little while, and during my time there, I actually was in a skiing accident and injured myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. I injured myself quite badly, enough to have to come back home to Louisiana to get some help. And during that time, I couldn't work. I could really not do anything. I was at a very dark point in my life. I had a head injury, some nerve damage, spinal injuries and stuff. So I had to dig really deep as far as what brings me joy. And again, I just kept returning to mushrooms. So that's whenever I started working on my business. That's whenever I launched Mycocentrics. And also that's when I started ingesting more mushrooms. So they were like an integral part in me healing. They're still a really important part in me maintaining my health so that I can go out and do the things that I love. So, what was your original question though?
How'd you end up getting back here to Baton Rouge?
That was pretty much the injuries forced me back here to Baton Rouge. It wasn't the path of least resistance by any means, but it got me back here. And at that time though, I was living in my hometown, Thibodaux, getting some help from family and stuff. And then eventually I moved back to Baton Rouge and worked at a local farm here, a local gourmet farm. And that's whenever I kind of got back into the swing of cultivating and everything. And yeah, just the community, like I mentioned here in Baton Rouge, is so amazing. So getting out into the community, seeing how people were responding to mushrooms. It took a couple years to build some traction. But
yeah, I was about to say, what made you decide to turn this into a business venture?
Yeah.
Coming back here to Baton Rouge, where I think it's safe to say you're probably one of the only folks doing this.
Yeah, so far there's not many people doing it. And I think just noticing the way that it helps my own health. For example, I mentioned the nerve injuries and everything, and lion's mane is really incredible for neurological health and clearing up brain fog. And it's one of the only things that can help regenerate nerves. So ingesting that and seeing it work within myself, I felt passionate about getting it out to other people. And I've known that I've always wanted to work in the holistic health industry as well. So, I don't know. It's just, that's what I say sometimes. I tell people I don't know what the driving force is, but it's very deep within me.
Yeah.
And it just feels like I'm just doing what I was meant to do. Yeah.
So then you're making these products and things for you to kind of to self ingest and kind of self work through. At what point were you then bottling it, labeling it, and saying, "Let me take this to market"?
Maybe about 6 to 8 months after working at that gourmet farm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just that really solidified my love for them as well, is just like learning to cultivate them, getting so excited to see them grow and everything. So, and also just watching other people in my life start businesses and have success in like the holistic health industry, and having that foresight. Whenever you go somewhere like Massachusetts, they, in my opinion, they're very progressive state. Louisiana can be a little bit slow. So I knew that this was going to be a really big industry, up and coming industry. So I wanted to get in early, you know. So that's kind of what really made me commit to it.
I love it. So you get your first bottle done, packaged. Where do you start selling this stuff? Like, do you just go to Amazon? Like, what's the path to market?
So I'm still kind of working through all that, but so far I've just been doing markets, local markets, like pop-ups and things like that. And that's where I first started. I did my first market. The labels looked terrible. You know, I still had some R&D to do, but I sold like 12 tinctures at that market. And I was like, whoa, like that's pretty substantial. That's enough to start something with.
Yeah.
So, but mostly, yeah, it's been like markets, and I'm in a few local stores as well. And then I have my online store, but still discovering, I would say, like how to market this and my target audience and things like that.
So you were doing things like white light night and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. White light night, you know, local pop-up at Electric Depot, things like that. Really any market I could possibly do. I rarely have a weekend off because I'm still doing those markets. Yeah. So
you get your little display, and you've got a phenomenal display here in the studio. I don't know if Jay can get all of it. We get all of it. Great. So this is, from my understanding, like you're set up at the booths.
Yeah.
So somebody walks up to the booth and sees this. I mean, their first question is got to be like, what in the world is this?
Yes.
You know, and how do you then explain to them what each of these different things are? We can go one by one if that's helpful.
Sure. I mean, well, I'll tell you, sometimes before even jumping into the tinctures, I will just start talking about the mushrooms, because I find that people really want to feel connected to what is actually in the bottles. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell them, for example, mostly of what we have on the table here is all different types of reishi mushrooms. And there's so much to talk about. A reishi mushroom. So reishi, they call reishi the mushroom of immortality.
The mushroom of immortality. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the reishi, it's one of the most all-encompassing mushrooms. They also call it the umbrella mushroom because it can cover such a wide range of health issues. It's been used for thousands of years in like ancient Chinese medicine and everything, traditional Chinese medicine. And it's an adaptogen. So what that means is that through consistent use and regular use, it can help your body to maintain homeostasis when it is exposed to stress. Our bodies are always exposed to stress, temperature changes, pressure changes, pollution, carcinogens, like all of these different things, stressors in our life. So our body's always trying to maintain homeostasis, and reishi can help us do that with greater ease. So it also helps like with stress adaptation. It's very calming and grounding. Not only can it keep you calm, but it helps you to deal with the byproducts of stress like cortisol and adrenaline. It can help your body to eliminate that. It can help with sleep. It can help with hormone balance. It's when people are like, what's a good place to start? I'm overwhelmed. I always point towards the reishi because it can cover such a wide range of things.
So which one of the actual mushrooms is it? Or is that up here for us to see, just to get a visual of what that mushroom looks like?
So let me tell, okay, like they're all reishi. That's what's crazy. All those mushrooms are reishi.
They're all reishi.
Yes, but
they're also different.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you grow them under different conditions, they can do different things. Like this tall one here in the back.
Tall, stalky looking one.
If you grow reishi mushrooms under a high CO2 environment, they will stretch like that.
Okay.
But the ones in the front are more like flat, traditional, like beautiful looking mushrooms. Those are grown under a high oxygen environment. So you can force them to do different things based off of their environment. And believe it or not, those bowls on the table are also made of reishi mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So like,
wow.
Just to give you a quick little like little lesson.
Yeah.
The life cycle.
Let's do the long lesson.
Yeah.
Come on now. This
Cool.
is fascinating.
Yeah. So basically the life cycle of mushroom, you have a spore.
Mm-hmm.
The spore will land on a piece of wood, and then that spore will shoot off what's called hyphae. And it's almost like you can think of it like roots. Okay. So it will shoot off these hyphae into the wood, the mushroom roots, and that's called mycelium. So that has a very important role in nature. That mycelium is responsible for breaking down organic matter and returning the nutrients to the soil. And for reishi, that's what it's doing in nature. But that's what's on that bowl is made of reishi mycelium that has grown through hemp. So it's super strong. Like if I always like when I'm demonstrating, I always like squeeze it. And I've had friends who have made like bricks out of that same material and run them over with cars, and they don't break.
The mushrooms don't break.
Yeah, they don't. The bricks made of them, they don't break. That's how strong that material is.
Holy smokes!
So you can imagine the various applications that you can make a house out of reishi mushrooms. No. You can't. Why not? You can.
I don't know. I guess if you've got enough strength in there, if they're driving
it's
cars,
honestly worth picking up to feel it like the
okay, hang on,
yeah. All good.
Okay. So this is laced with something.
So you can see like a little.
Like it almost looks like a bandage.
Yes, I used a stockinette to kind of encase it, and that helps me to mold it. And I believe that stockinette is also adding some structural integrity. So it's hemp, reishi mycelium, and the stockinette, and that thing is like 5 years old.
5 years old.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little beat up because I'm like bringing it to markets and stuff, but it's quite strong.
So these two are the same, you're telling me.
So that's the mycelium, and then the mycelium will eventually produce a mushroom.
Okay.
And that mushroom is just the reproductive structure of the whole fungal network. It's just responsible for producing spores. So the spores can scatter through the woods and land on more wood and break it down into soil.
Okay.
So the mushrooms that we're familiar with that we eat, that's the reproductive structure, whereas the mycelium is like the vegetative part of of its life cycle.
Almost like a flower, like that's like the petals of the flower, like the part that you would collect pollen and reproduce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
At first, when I walked in here, I thought this was a bowl and a spoon that you could eat with.
Yeah, some people think it's like a mortar and pestle or something.
Yeah, or more. Right. That was my initial thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see how you're like, wow. That's how I capture people at at the markets as well. Yeah. I'll kind of start with like some cool facts like that before I get into like, buy my tincture because it's going to help your health. And usually that kind of helps people lighten up and ease into the fact that they have these awesome health benefits. Cool, perfect.
There we go. Table decor is not my specialty. So you're telling me that the big bowl and then the very long stalks are the same mushroom?
Yes. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's wild.
That's crazy. Talk about adapting to your surroundings.
Totally. Yeah. And they're very, very good at doing that. I mean, they're very good at like remediation as well. Mm-hmm. So certain mushrooms can eat oil. Certain mushrooms can clean up heavy metals. There are plastic eating fungi out there. So they're very good at adapting to their surroundings. At Chernobyl, there's radiation eating fungus.
Really?
Yes. So I have a theory, if we would just leave the earth alone, stop polluting it, like it would clean itself up.
It would all go back to a mushroom state, and then somebody would come through and eat it, and then we'd be good, right?
Yep. So, but you said it perfectly. They're great at adapting to their environment, and they have a lot of different applications.
Yeah. So then how did you get to the point of discovering those two different growing methods, or is it just common knowledge for us non-mushroom intelligent people?
I don't know. I guess I've just been so obsessed with mushrooms that I follow like 1 million people on Instagram and stuff. And there's some people who are making awesome art with reishi in particular. So I guess I just learned through watching other people doing it pretty much. Mm-hmm.
So now are these even available in the wild? And if so, where?
That's a great question.
Where's their native home?
So here in Louisiana, we have multiple reishi species. So the genus is Ganoderma. So we have like Ganoderma sessile and Ganoderma cartesii are the main ones. So you can go to a Breck park and you if you look closely, go towards the dying trees because they grow off of decaying hardwood. You probably can find a reishi. I just found some at like Frenchtown. I found them at Comeet River Trail, Park Forest, or Forest Park. My bad. Yeah, so they are local to us.
Okay.
Out of the 3 of the 4 tinctures I offer do grow here in Louisiana. Turkey tail, lion's mane, and reishi all grow. And here in Baton Rouge, I found all 3 of them.
So you found all 3 of them here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So generally, if you're out there in nature, you're walking around some trails or things, I'll see a ton of different mushrooms. Mm-hmm. But I'm always like, I've always been told, like, don't touch any of them.
Yeah.
Out of precaution.
Yeah.
So, like, to your point, if they're grown here, how is somebody, like, how can they identify it outside of those looking at the exact way, but those are grown under controlled conditions? Mm-hmm. In the wild, I'm sure they'd look totally different, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
See that one kind of pointing towards you that's in the bowl?
Yes.
I found that one here in Baton Rouge in nature. So they actually look quite similar. They don't grow like that stalk. You don't really see that, but they look similar enough, and they have some really strong identifying features. So like I always tell people to involve their senses whenever they're foraging. Every mushroom, you can touch it safely. Every mushroom, even the deadly poisonous ones, you can actually bite, chew, and spit out. You just can't swallow them. Okay. So especially like in America in general, we have like mycophobia. People are worried.
They're worried that they're going to eat and they're going to die.
Yeah, and like you want to have a healthy fear of them because you don't want to eat something you're not supposed to.
Blindly grab something, yeah.
Yeah, and you definitely want to do your due diligence to identify it properly before utilizing it. But reishi has a very distinct look. It has a very distinct smell. So it smells kind of like irony, almost like blood, honestly. And it's interesting because it is really good at cleansing the blood, and it's good for the liver and stuff like that. So all mushrooms have a distinct like taste, smell, and look about them. There's books that can help you, and there's some good Facebook groups.
I figured there's going to be some good Facebook groups.
Yeah. I always try to be helpful in them, commenting whenever people ask questions. And like so with something like reishi, with something like lion's mane as well, not a lot of lookalikes. They're pretty distinguished in how they look. So
are any of those a lion's mane?
I don't have any lion's mane.
Okay. Can you pull us up one, Jay?
Yeah. If you go to, well, you got it. Yeah. So that's what the cordyceps look like. They're just gorgeous. And then
what are the properties of the cordyceps?
The cordyceps are going to be the ones that are like uplifting, energizing, good for oxygen uptake. They call cordyceps the athlete's mushroom.
The athlete's mushroom.
Yeah, so it's really good for increasing VO2 max, helping with recovery, preventing soreness, and things like that as well.
Okay, I've heard of lion's mane a lot.
Yeah, and that lion's mane, that picture, I found that lion's mane just north of Baton Rouge.
Okay, and so what are the lion's mane's properties?
Lion's mane is very good for neurological health. So, well, it's good for, let me start with this. Like, it's very good for the gut microbiome. And about 90% of our serotonin is actually created in our gut. So you got a healthy gut, you're probably going to have some healthy mental health as well. So it really helps like that gut-brain connection. But it's one of the only things we know of in nature or conventional medicine that can actually stimulate nerve growth.
Okay.
So it can repair damaged nerves, help to form new neural pathways. So it's really good for people who have ADHD. It's good for like focus, memory, cognition, articulation, and things like that.
And so this is not a take once and cure all thing. This is kind of like be part of your active lifestyle to continuously help aid and assist them.
That's right. Most of the research, they're like after 6 weeks, they use it a lot. Most of the research a lot of the research is with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So it's usually after 6 weeks or even after up to 3 months, we saw an improvement in these people. And that's a really good point. And that's what I really try to drive home is that this is something that you're going to want to commit to. Yeah. Not something that you're going to take one time and be like, I don't feel it. It's like, you want to get it in your system a little bit.
You got to get in your system and get it working. Yeah.
let your body work with the mushroom.
Okay. So I feel like I've seen turkey tail before.
Yeah. Turkey tail is one of the most studied mushrooms up to this point. In like Japan, for example, they utilize it a lot in conjunction with chemotherapy to help improve patient outcomes who are undergoing chemotherapy, who have cancer. So really powerful just for the everyday person to help with preventative health. But if someone is undergoing treatment or is trying to like beat cancer, that's where most of the research is with turkey tail. It can be very, very helpful in accomplishing that. And for the everyday person, it's just good for immune support, helping to prevent you from getting sick. It's good for hair, skin, and nails. And it's another one that's going to be good for gut health too.
Okay. And I've seen some reishi before, if that's what that looks like.
Yeah. And you see that picture, how it looks kind of rusty, and even on the wood, there's that's the spores.
Okay.
So that's that mushroom is the reproductive part of the fungus that is producing those spores to spread out through the forest and land on more wood and produce more mushrooms.
So that will get picked up via wind, animals, or what have you, and then get spread, replanted, so to speak, and then grow elsewhere.
Yes, and reishi mushrooms is crazy. They produce like 30,000 spores every second or something.
Every second?
Like that. Doesn't that like break your brain? Like it doesn't even make sense to me.
Holy smokes.
But that's how
are we not covered in reishi mushrooms at this point?
But whenever they're in like you can often smell them in the air whenever there's a lot of reishi mushrooms in a certain like in some forests, it's just full of reishi and you can smell it in the air. And
that's that iron smell, almost kind of like blood or something?
Yes, very distinct. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And then we mentioned the reishi is going to be real calming, grounding, good for sleep and hormone balance as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you've got the reishi in the purple bottle, and then you've got the lion's mane focusing more on your mental health and stability there.
Yep.
So then what are the other two?
The orange one is the cordyceps.
Okay.
The green one is the turkey tail.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. And that's what I have so far, but Mycocentrics is expanding. And in 2026, we anticipate launching some new product offerings as well. So
can we talk about the new product offerings?
Yeah, I can give some little hints.
Okay, so what do you have on the horizon?
Yeah, we're looking at some mushroom coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had mushroom coffee in Colorado before.
Okay, how was it?
Fantastic.
Good. Okay. So I'm in transition to this new space that I'm going to be getting into. I'll also be getting to some new equipment, and finally I'll be able to do more like powders and things like that, which I'm very excited about because, as I mentioned, these are ethanol-based tinctures. Not everyone can do alcohol, even if someone's just like in recovery or so I'm really looking forward to some alcohol-free products. But yeah, Billy and I have been talking for a while, and I think he's great, and yeah, we're hopeful for a collaboration between the two of us. And yeah, I just want some more palatable products. I'm not 100% on some of them, so I don't want to like say too much.
Yeah, no, we don't want you to overstep here either.
But that's one that people ask me about all the time, mushroom coffee. And I feel like it's just like an easy entryway to a lot of my customers because they're already aware of mushroom coffee. They might already be drinking it. So I'm like, I gotta be the local source for it. You know, absolutely. I cannot have y'all getting this off of Amazon or whatever. Like,
so what would the mushroom be paired with? Like, what's the mushroom that you're going to use in this mushroom coffee? I'm
thinking I like the cordyceps and lion's mane pairing. Cordyceps, like I mentioned, it's really good for adrenal health. So it's protective of the adrenal glands. One thing about coffee is that it can cause some burnout and it can cause some stress on the adrenal glands. So even if you don't plan to stop drinking coffee or reduce your caffeine intake, cordyceps can help prevent some of the burnout and like the crash with coffee. So I think that's a really good pairing. And then lion's mane, just for that focus and getting dialed in and getting into flow states and stuff like that. I think they'd both be really good paired with coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So for these particular ones that you've got, is there a way to take too much?
I mean, there's no potential of overdose. Everyone is a little bit different. And I have had people it's not agreeable with everyone. And that's true for any kind of herbal supplement, any kind of medication.
Yeah, it's true with everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like some people's livers don't process it well. That's very rare. So like with any of these tinctures, especially if people are on medication, because some of them can help with like blood sugar and blood pressure. And they're like, well, can I take that with my medicine? So I'm always like, well, you want to ask your doctor about that for sure.
I'm just an engineer. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, like definitely consult your doctor on it. But yeah, there's no like risk of overdoing it. And yeah, they're very safe. And that's what's awesome about these is they're safe for long-term use. So,
welcome to the brand new Falaya mobile app. We took all the same tech that's helped hundreds of people sell their homes themselves and packed it into an easy-to-use app for your phone. When you download the Falaya mobile app on either the Apple or Android App Store, you'll immediately be able to see the power of this game-changing tool. From the seller's dashboard, you can navigate to all the information that you need. We intentionally separated everything into key groups, such as tasks to be completed, buyer leads for your listing, and contact information for everyone involved through closing. When you get an offer on your property, you can simply review and respond all within the app. No matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to monitor everything that's going on with your property from listed to sold. It's truly the power of Falaya in the palm of your hand. Download the app and see for yourself. Falaya, it's real estate reimagined.
Good question.
Yeah, because that's like the two issues that people will always have with them is like, okay, this is gonna be poisonous and I'm gonna die, or I'm gonna end up in a creek on the side of a road because I went to La La Land.
Yeah. I mean, none of these have the psychoactive properties of those mushrooms.
Just don't chew on that hemp bowl too hard.
Don't chew on the hemp bowl too hard. Yeah. But you know, the psilocybin containing mushrooms, the one that can give you like an experience, like a trip or whatever, they also can be really good with helping to form new neural pathways. So lion's mane can do that without the psychedelic experience as well.
Okay. So do you grow the other ones too?
I don't grow the other ones. I mean, like they're really no different. Growing those, it's if you know how to grow lion's mane, you can grow those mushrooms and vice versa. The process is very similar. I don't currently grow them. Like they're still like federally
I was about to say, I think there's like some legality
yeah.
issues around them.
Yes. They're not legal yet. So I don't mess with them, but I have had people approach me asking for them, and I hope to give some cultivation classes like for lion's mane. And then if people want to go and they can go and grow whatever they'd like after that, you know. So if they learn to grow lion's mane, they could definitely grow the psilocybin containing ones too. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. That's what I hear.
There it is. That's what you heard. Word in the mushroom space is that if you learn to grow one, you can grow them all.
That's right.
Okay, so you're at your. I want to go back to like your first trade show. Okay, where like you're like the only mushroom booth there, I'm sure. And the first person walks up to you, like, what is their initial reaction, if you can recall?
I'm trying to think. Okay, the very first person, I don't remember. But I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people just approach it with a ton of curiosity. And at that time, I was only selling lion's mane and I was selling dried cordyceps.
Okay.
So it was very like concentrated. And thankfully, lion's mane is one of the most popular mushrooms. So a lot of people are familiar with it. But if I had to guess, it involved me, as always, doing a lot of education, not only about what the mushrooms can do, but what a tincture even is. So, and like my display at the time was very like sparse. Like it did not have all of these cool things on it. I think it was pretty much just the tinctures, my little packs of cordyceps, and a couple other mushrooms or something.
So you were selling the cordyceps dried?
I was.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the consumption method for those?
So those you can basically make a tea out of them. So like the cordyceps and the lion's mane technically are edible mushrooms. You can cook with them if you're able to get them fresh. Otherwise, you would need to make a tea out of them. You cannot eat raw mushrooms. The raw, like mushrooms, their cell wall is made of the same thing as crustaceans. It's made of chitin. So similarly, how you can't bite a crawfish shell and expect to be able to digest that.
Yeah.
You can't like bite into a mushroom. Even those mushrooms at the salad bar, technically those should be cooked in order to consume them.
Okay.
Yeah. You should cook all your mushrooms. And that's why I run them through this extraction process, is to break down that cell wall and access what's inside of them. So the cordyceps, if you were to receive some that were dried, you would have to make a tea or otherwise cook them to be able to access the good stuff in there.
Okay. So I'm trying to think. Yeah. So like the salad bars with the raw mushrooms, like what does that do to you?
Those are kind of like, they're just like indigestible. Like you're not going to digest them. But for example, if you eat like raw shiitake mushrooms, you can get, there's a specific word for it and I can't think of it right now, but basically it can make like your capillaries explode. Yeah, it's crazy. Like it looks gnarly and it's pretty much harmless, but it'll give you a really bad rash. And they call it like shiitake dermatitis or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So certain mushrooms can give you a pretty bad reaction if you don't cook them. Morels is another example. Morel mushrooms. Everyone's kind of getting into foraging right now. And last year there was 2 or 3 deaths in America associated with morel mushrooms. They're edible when you cook them, but if you eat them raw, they can be quite harmful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So how long do you have to cook them before that? You're like, at what point you put them in there, you're like, okay, now they've crossed over and they're not going to kill me.
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that. I just cook them thoroughly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it a consistency thing? Like, when you like saute mushrooms and you get them really, really cooked down, like, is there at that point, or is it like, oh, they just need to be like, you know, you boil water at this temperature. You're like, oh, you got to get the mushroom at this temperature, and then it's all good.
Right. There probably is a certain temperature that you would want to get it to. But morel mushrooms, when you chop them up, they're very thin. And if you cook them to where they are kind of getting a little crisp and a little like caramelization on there, they're certainly cooked well enough to consume. And I've consumed morel mushrooms that way, and I'm here today.
You're here, right? So you're good.
Yeah.
It's just, see, and that's the part I think when people hear about folks going do that foraging, and then you do have some folks who are uneducated, unaware of what to do in the proper treatment, then you end up with folks, you know, losing their lives to this stuff.
Yeah. It's really, really wild. To be honest, like I didn't even know that about morel mushrooms until, I would not have eaten them raw anyway because of what I just explained to you. Like I know that you need to cook them, but I didn't know that was a possibility with morel mushrooms until it came out on the news that, you know, there's a couple of deaths associated with it. So
where are those local to?
Interestingly, and people don't typically know this, but we do have them here in Louisiana.
Okay.
They only grow really in like West Feliciana and East Feliciana Parish. They need very specific conditions, but they grow more abundantly in like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, on the West Coast too. They have morel mushrooms. So very coveted. They are not one that you can cultivate. So you have to forage them. I say that. Like in China and stuff.
Why can't you cultivate them?
So like, remember how I told you that they grow off of decaying hardwood?
Yeah.
There are certain mushrooms like chanterelle mushrooms or morel mushrooms that grow out of the soil. Those mushrooms have a very intricate relationship with the trees around it, the bacteria in the soil, and it's very hard to replicate those relationships that they have in nature. So because we don't know how to replicate it well, we don't really cultivate them. But they're totally cultivating them in China and everything. And I have seen people in America starting to kind of figure it out. So I think there's potential that we're gonna learn how to do it eventually. Yeah. We're just not quite there yet.
You should go get some dirt out of Feliciana.
I really want to take a little sample.
That's what I'm saying. Like go there and just like find wherever some is growing and just take like, you know, like a couple square feet of dirt and just bring it back and then study what's in the dirt.
I know. I think you're onto something.
No, I'm no scientist. No. I'm just pulling that out.
No, I think that would be like that. That would be my thought as well. Like that would be the way you would do it. You need to really understand what they're growing out of and the conditions. Also, what's the temperature? What's the soil temperature? What's the humidity? What's the pressure like? All these different factors go into mushroom cultivation.
Yeah, see, I'm not one to cultivate. That's too many factors to throw in there. That's a whole lot to take into consideration. I like the what are the ones that they sell in the big block that you like poke holes and you just like spritz it every now and again and leave it in a dark room and it grows and you harvest them?
Maybe like lion's mane can do that, but maybe you're referring to oyster mushrooms.
Maybe.
Oyster mushrooms are really common ones that people easy cultivate. Just like you said, just a little spritz, dark room.
Yeah, it's like a big block like this, and you just stick it in a dark room and you spritz it every now and again, and then you show up the next like couple of days and just like 1,000 mushrooms on it.
Yeah. Oyster mushrooms are really good at that, and lion's mane too. Both of those are very easy to cultivate, and you cultivate them off of hardwood, which is what they grow on, in nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all. So you say you're going to get into the powdered version of these, and that's how you can incorporate it with coffee?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the other applications that powder, like just drop it in a drink or?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Powders can be infused into almost any food-based product, or even like gummies and things like that. You can utilize the pure extract, and I'm really excited because in the beginning, how I mentioned, you can do an ethanol extract and a water extract. A lot of companies out there are only doing a water extract. So whenever I make my powders, and then they make a powder out of that. So when I make my powders, I'm going to do a water and an ethanol extract. And that's what I think is going to set me apart, is having a more full spectrum powder. Also, it's like kind of like the elephant in the room. And if you ever like looking into mushroom products, you want to be mindful of this, but a lot of powders are made with mycelium on grain, which is pretty much like that hemp. If you can imagine, like instead of hemp, it was grain. They take that grain and mycelium and grind that up.
Okay.
So a lot of the powder, well, I mean, it does have its own properties. Like the mycelium does have some benefits, but also you're getting a lot of grain. So it's heavily diluted. So that's again where I'm going to hopefully set myself apart, is having only the fruiting bodies in these powders and making it a more full spectrum product. It has the ethanol portion and the water portion in it.
So walk us through the difference between, I know you said that one can be ethanol, one can be water. What are the different properties? How do they consume differently, impact you differently, etc.?
Certain molecules are more lightweight, and those need to be extracted with the ethanol. For example, the brain boosting molecules that exist in lion's mane that can help regenerate our nerves, those can only be extracted into ethanol. So if you don't do an ethanol extract, you're like missing the whole point of why you're taking the lion's mane extract. The water extract is going to pull out more of like the polysaccharides and the heavier molecules. And those are responsible for most of the immune supporting benefits, as well as like the gut microbiome supporting benefits as well.
Okay, so certain mushrooms have to go one way or the other. You can't do both and.
Each of my tinctures have both.
Okay.
Yeah. Every mushroom can be extracted with ethanol and water.
Got it.
And that's ideal. Some mushrooms, like turkey tail, for example, I mentioned that it's one of the most studied mushrooms up to this point. Most of the molecules that have been studied are water soluble. So if you go out in nature and you find some and you know that it's turkey tail and you want to take it home and utilize it, you can get most of the benefits by just making a tea, making a water extract that way. But I still do an ethanol portion of it, especially for a tincture, because the ethanol is keeping it shelf stable, first of all, but also because there are some molecules that are going to come out in that ethanol. It's crazy the colors that come out too. Like turkey tail. What do you mean? Like you would think, looking at the turkey tail, can you scroll down a little bit? Looking at the turkey tail, like what color would you think the ethanol extract would be?
Oh man, we got to zoom in on this too. So for y'all that are listening and have been listening to the show a while, we actually now have a proper TV set up in the studio, so we can actually pull things up and look at it with the guests and follow along, and we'll incorporate it in the show as time goes on. But right now we're looking at a picture of the turkey tail. I'm going to guess blue.
Good guess. However, it comes out pink.
What?
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
So the tea comes out pink.
The ethanol portion of it. The tea is more like a brownish color.
Okay, so the ethanol portion will come out pink.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I don't know.
The ethanol's clear.
Ethanol is clear.
It reacts with whatever these molecules are. It turns it pink.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so how do you know what's the proper dosage here?
For general maintenance, so I make a 1 to 5 tincture, and for general maintenance, I recommend 1 to 2 milliliters a day, and that's just like the traditional recommendation. Whenever I'm able to make these powders, I'm going to be able to get a lot more specific with how many milligrams of extract is in each milliliter.
Okay. So like if I'm going to start putting lion's mane in my coffee, for example.
Yeah.
How much would you put?
I would put 2 milliliters.
2 milliliters. Okay.
And if you were going to put lion's mane in your coffee, I would recommend putting it in the latter half of your coffee once it's cooled off a little bit.
So like finish your cooler cup of coffee. Like when the coffee gets cold, that's when you add it in.
Ideally, just because some of the molecules are heat sensitive and I want to make sure that they're preserved.
Okay. So same thing for the cordyceps. So the cordyceps is your energy piece. That sounds like you really need to have that in the lion's mane within the coffee. That is also susceptible to heat.
It is a little bit not as sensitive as the lion's mane, but it is still a bit sensitive. The reishi and the turkey tail are more heat stable, especially the reishi. Like you can put that into coffee, definitely. Okay.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
So if you were working through like a consumption strategy for folks, how do you break that up? If they're like, I want to get, all 4 of them in the day. Should I get all 4 of them in the day? What's the balance here?
I personally take all 4 of them every day. And usually when I'm talking with a customer, I really try to understand their already existing lifestyle. Some people are like, I drink smoothies. Can I put it in that? I'm like, perfect. And I always tell people the best way to take it is the best way that you're going to remember. And the best way to take it is consistently. So if you're going to better remember in the morning, cool, do that. If you're going to better remember in the evening, do that. A lot of people start out, especially when they order online, they'll start out with the bundle. And I'll always write a little note in my package to them. And I always recommend turkey tail in the morning, cordyceps in the morning, and the other 2 in the evening. Okay. Just because they can be really helpful to help you wind down, and they can help with sleep, the lion's mane and the reishi. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you split them up. You're not making all one big cocktail and consuming them all.
But if that's the way that you would remember, then cool, you could do that. Sometimes I'll just get a big glass of water, put them all in there, so I'm making sure I'm getting my water intake. Combining them with other practices is great. Like if you're trying to work on, you're trying to heal some trauma or something like that, I would say, okay, the lion's mane can help with that. Maybe pair it with journaling. The cordyceps can be really good for an active lifestyle. Like maybe you take your cordyceps before going on a walk. Reishi can be paired with your night routine. So I try to encourage people to pair it with what, like their lifestyle and what they're already doing for themselves as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting working with customers and selling like a health, convincing someone to take care of themselves.
You wouldn't think that'd be a hard thing to do.
I know, but it's a challenge. It really is. Especially like I'll see people and they're like, oh, I keep forgetting to take it. I'm like, you might not be like, why if you bought it, you should definitely take it.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there a world where you then get your powder in a capsules?
That would be a great thing. Yeah, maybe so.
Like if you can make them in like little capsules and everything, and so instead of having to do the drops or anything like that, because I feel like we've become more accustomed to taking pills. Yeah. Than to taking drops. Like even whatever the oil may be or whatever it is, people are have a hesitation to drops, but have no problem going in their closet, grabbing pills and popping those as part of their medication process.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that because I agree that encapsulating them.
Yeah, it becomes a
really
supplement
nice.
at that point. They're more open to taking supplements than saying, "Oh, I've got to put these drops in my water."
Yeah,
It travels a little bit easier too, and it's like instead of having to sit there and unscrew it and drop it all in and get your drops, and did I get it just right? If it's okay, if I just need one of these a day, I can pop it and go.
Yep, you make an excellent point. So I'll add that to my product line considerations.
How long does one of those vials last if I'm taking a couple of milliliters a day? Like, what
Great
does that
question.
little bottle give me?
It would give you a month's supply.
1 month.
1 month. So there's
Okay.
60 milliliters in there. I would recommend 2 milliliters a day. So that will last you 30 days.
Okay.
So I designed it that way on purpose too.
You get those monthly subscriptions.
Exactly.
Can you subscribe and save here?
No, I need to.
You can't
though.
subscribe and
I
save?
know, I know. It's
come
terrible.
on.
It's terrible.
You need a subscribe and save
Okay, cool.
here.
I'll add it in
Mycocentrics
there.
Plus.
Yeah. I can dig it. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I do.
I'll
need
sell
to
you
add
some.
those. Yeah. Yep. I definitely need to subscribe and save. Yeah.
I feel like it's a little button we can add. It's got to be super
I think it's probably
simple.
just that simple.
It's like at the checkout line, right? So like knowing that you've designed the bottles like that. So it's 30 days, so 30 daily doses. It's got to be super simple to then have a follow-up like outgoing email say, "Hey, we know you should be low by now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and reorder. It'll arrive and you'll be able to keep going."
Yeah.
Rather than having to have people remember. It's the ease. That's why Amazon does so well. It's the ease for the consumer.
You're absolutely right. And
Are you on Amazon yet?
No.
Okay. Will they allow you to sell on Amazon?
I think they would. I feel like there's just so many. That's what I was going to mention, that like just being a one-woman show, and this is why I really am at the point where I know that I need a team to free me up from hand pouring tinctures so I can do more of like these higher functioning parts of the business and really grow it, is that I know that I'm not capitalizing on everything I can be. And one of those things is having like email campaigns and stuff like that. So that's something I've been working on, developing subscriptions. And like what I'm learning, really the key is having repeat customers, right? Getting the customer has been not easy, but easier than keeping them.
Yeah.
So I think that's where, just in my own reflection, like that's where I can do a better job, is checking in with people, having those email campaigns and stuff like that, getting those repeat customers.
Yeah,
so thanks for that.
Once they're on it, right, and they see the benefits. So I mean, like if somebody was to start it, how long till they start seeing or a noticeable difference, so to speak?
It's interesting because even though I just mentioned like, I'm thinking of someone who just emailed me like a few days ago. She only had taken the tinctures for a couple of days, but she was like, I wasn't feeling well. And then I took the tinctures and like, maybe it's in my head. I love when people say that. Maybe it's in my head. I'm like,
it's a placebo effect.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but it could be the tinctures too, you know, but some people will take it. And I find usually if people have like a chronic illness or they don't feel that good throughout their day to day, they are more likely to feel it really quickly. I have people who take my reishi tincture and within a day or two, they're like, I swear, like I'm sleeping better. So some people notice it quickly. Some people they'll stick to it. But they'll be like, I don't know if I'm really like, I think it's doing something. So for some people, it can be more subtle. And for some people, it's not till they stop taking it. And I went through this recently where I just took a break and stopped taking it. And then they're like, wow, I didn't realize how much it was helping me. And in my experience, when I did that, like my anxiety went up, my inflammation went up, and my like energy and sleep was not as good as when I have them in my system. So it can vary.
So when you said these, you can give them to kids?
I can't make recommendations for kids, but if a parent would like to give them to children, because there just hasn't been a ton of research around it.
Yeah. Because the thing, like all the kids nowadays, I feel like you walk into a classroom of kids and like 20% of them are on some type of ADD medication.
Yeah, that's right. And I have a customer that comes to mind, and she was giving it to her son, and she let me know that she saw an improvement and his teachers had reached out to him to say like, what are y'all doing differently? Because they noticed that he was more like dialed in and able to focus. So I've also heard of nonverbal children, like have children who are having trouble speaking, taking the lion's mane and becoming verbal from utilizing it.
Wow.
So I think that it can definitely benefit children of people of all age groups for sure.
Yeah.
And it's really immune supportive too. Like the turkey tail, I just recently made a post that was like for the whole family, you know, put it in your soup or put it in your cooking, because all kids are going to school getting sick and stuff. So that could be a way to boost their immune system by just adding it into their food. It will be completely masked. Like the taste will not, you can mask the taste of it essentially by just adding it to food.
So, and do each of them have a different, like, nasty taste, or is it some that are okay? Like you say, you put in your water, right? Like I imagine that's got to influence the flavor of your water drastically.
Yeah. Yeah. They all have different tastes.
Okay.
So the reishi is super bitter, like super bitter. So that's one that when people purchase it from me, I'm like, go ahead and dilute it. Go ahead and dilute it because, I mean, it's pretty harsh. Cordyceps is more like umami flavor. It's like a little bit savoriness to it. I think it's really good. It almost has like, I almost want you to like, I have some right here and I kind of want to like, I want you to smell it.
Okay.
So you can see.
So which one is this?
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That's not like bad.
Yeah.
It almost smells like pumpkin seeds.
That's a good description. To me, it smells like cheesy popcorn.
Cheesy popcorn.
It's got a little cheesiness.
I don't know. I get pumpkin seeds.
Okay.
I get a strong pumpkin seed smell. Like toasted, roasted pumpkin seeds.
I could see that. Yeah. So that one has, I mean, it's a really good culinary mushroom. It's so delicious whenever you cook it up. So that has a pretty good flavor. The lion's mane is very nutty. It has a little bit of a sweetness about it. And the turkey tail is pretty earthy.
Okay.
So if you dilute it, I think it's good because it takes some of that alcoholiness away from it. And then you can sip on it and really, and like I tell people, always just try a little bit, because I really think, like I mentioned, incorporating your senses is a signal to your body. When you take that reishi tincture and it's bitter, it can also signal your body it's time to calm down or it's time to wind down for sleep. So I think that the flavor of them can also help our brain to understand and connect the dots as to what to do with it in our body. So I always encourage people, you know, at least try a little bit, kind of like get to know it. But diluting it is a good way to take some of like that bite out of it.
This episode of the Patty G Show is brought to you by Cortex. Cortex is the trusted technology partner for small businesses across Louisiana, delivering managed IT, cybersecurity, and smart strategies to help you leverage AI without the confusion. I mean, aren't we all confused by AI nowadays? As a locally owned company, we understand the challenges Louisiana businesses face and provide tailored solutions that keep your operations secure and efficient. Whether you're looking to strengthen your cybersecurity or explore how AI can give your business a competitive edge, Cortex is here to help. Be sure to mention the Patty G Show and receive a free cybersecurity risk and analysis to see where your business stands. But say, so like you said, you put it in your water and stuff. Do people just generally tend to get it filled up and then just put the drops on their tongue and all that? Or?
Some people do.
Okay.
I do that sometimes. I did it just now, like before this, because I wanted to be more calm. So I took some reishi and I just went for it.
All right. And it wasn't too bad?
I'm so used to it, you know?
Okay,
and it's usually I have a little sip of water on the side of me so I can, you know, chase it back a little bit. But yeah, people do take it all different ways. Recently, I had someone, this is a really crazy story. So like, I had someone recently tell me she has a rare neurological condition called syringomyelia.
Okay.
And my understanding of it, I am not a doctor, but my understanding is that the cerebral spinal fluid is not moving correctly through the spine and through the cranium. So what can happen is you can start to develop little cysts along the spinal cord and in your cranium as well. And that can cause a ton of symptoms, I'm sure, if you have cysts along your nervous system. So what she was experiencing, and I give this, when I give my presentations, I talk about this too, but she was experiencing a lot of hair loss. She was almost like bald at the top of her head. And she had been using like, what's that, Nutrafol or whatever, some kind of hair growth thing. Yeah, she was using that for over a year, no results. And in desperation, she started putting the lion's mane tincture on the top of her head. And she sent me pictures 6 weeks later. And you can see the little tiny new growth of hair that is coming on her head. Her hair is growing back.
Wow.
It's crazy. So I don't know if that would happen for anyone. I don't know if it's because she had that neurological condition and the lion's mane is good for nerve growth and that's why it worked well for her. But yeah, she's continues to put it on her scalp and her hair has continued to grow. I can't say for sure it's a lion's mane, but I mean, we're pretty sure it's the lion's mane. It's the only thing she started doing.
That's not the sales thing. Lion's mane helps grow your hair back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, lion's mane. I mean, look, it's all coming together.
I know.
It all makes sense.
Yep. So I'm thinking, like, should I make a lion's mane shampoo or something like that? Like, yeah. I think there's some research to be done, and it sparked my curiosity, though, just for topical use. If it could have some anti-inflammatory properties or people who experience nerve pain and stuff like that, if it could potentially help them. So that could be some further down the line product development that I play around with.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. There's other mushrooms that can really help with pain and stuff like that. Like amanita mushrooms, the Mario mushroom, you know, like the
yeah, the one you eat and you grow 6 times in size. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that can be really, really good topically for nerve pain specifically. So I think
like
there could be
cream or something like that.
Yeah, you make like a salve out of it, and I personally have used it and it has helped tremendously with like my chronic pain and everything. So it's really sparked my curiosity. And in China and stuff, they utilize reishi and like tremella mushrooms, different types of mushrooms for skincare and stuff like that. So all this to say, there's so much exploration to be done in like the ways that we apply these mushrooms to our life.
Yeah. I mean, you're only just like scraping the top of it.
That's right. The tincture is like the most simple form. And from there, we can just like infinitely expand pretty much.
Yeah. No, this is fantastic. Well, we could sit here for hours and hours talking about mushrooms,
Yeah.
but you know, we do kind of have to start wrapping up the show. And so towards the end of the show, we like to ask all the guests a set list of questions. So the first one being, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
What do you mean wish I could still do? Like,
is there something you did as a kid that you got like as a core memory or something and you said, man, I wish I could still go and do that today?
the reason I asked the question to your question is because like immediately my mind went to those ripsticks. You remember those?
I sure do.
Yes.
I sure do.
Tell me that wasn't like a vibe. You going down your neighborhood like ripsticking with your homies, man. But then I'm like, I feel like I could kind of still do that if I really wanted to.
When are you gonna go down the street with your homies on a ripstick?
Yeah,
nowadays?
like it probably won't happen.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's what came to mind. Like just the feeling of run around the neighborhood with your friends. Barefooted. I think then there was maybe less pesticides, so maybe that's part of what I used to be able to do but can't do anymore.
What are you talking about? I used to go run behind the bug truck as it drove down the road. What do you mean less pesticides?
Oh my god, you're so right. That I was riding the ripstick behind the
bug truck.
Yeah.
Absolutely, behind all the fog and everything.
Gosh, that's crazy to think about. But yeah, the ripstick, man.
I love it. That's a great answer. Great answer. What are like 3 lessons you've learned along the way?
3 lessons. Mistakes are a blessing sometimes. Things not working out are like such a blessing sometimes, and it may seem just horrible and detrimental, certain losses that we experience, but looking back, it could be the best thing that ever happened. So that's 1. Oh gosh, I got 2 more. Okay. Stay consistent, because whenever I first started this, it's like very foreign to people, but I always just knew that it's going to pick up. And the first 2 years were just such a grind and such a struggle. I've done so much education in the city of Baton Rouge, given presentations and things like that to help the community understand what these things are. And just in this past 6 months, almost every month, I'm doubling my sales. And that, I think, is purely from consistency and just not giving up even whenever it looked not that good. So that's 2. And then 3, treat people with empathy. and kindness, because I think a lot of times people, they're not always buying the product because they think that, well, I hope they think it's going to help them. But a lot of times the healing is through like the empathy that we have the ability to give people and really listening to them and allowing them to be vulnerable and sharing their story. And that can sometimes be more healing for people than the product itself.
Absolutely. So what is something you love about Baton Rouge?
The community. Something really cool, like recently whenever everything was going down with like the food stamps and people not receiving their food stamps, and just seeing how the community came together, restaurants and businesses just offering free food to people. The Red Shoes did so good at making like a bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for like hundreds of family, people stocking up the community refrigerators and stuff like that. It's definitely the community and people coming together and understanding the importance of like supporting local and stuff like that. I think we have like such an incredible community here in Baton Rouge.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for the final question, what can I do to help you?
Thank you for asking that. I'm just going to say, I mean, I think this podcast will be like super helpful and the exposure and everything, but just spread the spores.
Spread the spores.
Spread the spores.
Yeah, this is the title, just like that.
Spread the spores. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I was going to ask, is it ironic that your last name is Gros and now you cultivate mushrooms?
My Instagram name is Jordan Gros. Yeah. It's just like, it's too
your
good,
name,
right?
but it's just like, it's...
I know. Yeah, no, I think I'm on the right path.
I love it. Spread the spores. Well, look, when you get to the capsule point,
I'll hit you up.
Hit me up.
I got you.
Hit me up for sure.
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Jordan.
Thank
it's been
you.
A blast.
I've enjoyed myself.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody else, for listening or watching on whatever platform you consume on. Yeah, if you're interested and you want to learn some more, be sure to check out her website. We're going to link it in the show notes, as well as reach out and see what you can maybe start incorporating in your daily life. You never know what will help you out. So thank you all so very much. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.